Natalie, what were your thoughts on the Fever's defense? Appeared to be more physical in the second half.
Exactly. They were more physical than us in the second half. Kind of dictated a little bit more of our flow, but I thought we did a great job of still navigating the matchups that we wanted. Unfortunately, we just missed.
Tiffany Hayes, do you like that? That's what happens when you piss a GOAT off. Caitlin Clark in GOAT mode versus Tiffany Hayes and the Golden State Valkyries.
On them today. Tore they ass up from beginning to end. Talk about a show. A smoke show from the GOAT, Tiffany Hayes. That's what we call BTA. That's for talking crazy to the GOAT. That's for running your mouth too much.
The Valkyries entered the game convinced they had the perfect plan to slow down Caitlin Clark, but by the second half, everything unraveled. Defensive schemes fell apart, adjustments stopped working, and the arena quickly realized this was becoming far more than just another standout performance. Momentum swung dramatically, the pressure intensified, and Clark completely took over the spotlight. But what exactly triggered the turning point? And what surprising revelation from Nakase has suddenly sparked massive debate among fans?
Things I want to point out there. Number one, Caitlin said it took us a year longer than we would have liked. And that is in reference to the fact that Indiana had not beaten the Golden State Valkyries. Remember, Golden State was an expansion team. Came out in 2025. And Indiana could not get a win. So finally, they got the monkey off the back. The second thing I want to point out is she says, thanks for booing the refs. And it was interesting in the post-game press conference, she found out that she had a technical. She had no idea that.
Before we dive deeper, make sure to like the video and subscribe, because what unfolded next was absolutely impossible to ignore. What started as a routine Friday night clash against the Golden State Valkyries rapidly transformed into a headline-making moment that shook the entire WNBA. By the time the final buzzer sounded, this wasn't simply another tough regular season win. It felt like a message sent directly to the rest of the league. What began as a gritty, emotional, and highly physical battle eventually became something much bigger than the Indiana Fever's 90-82 triumph.
This was the first time this year where the Fever have made a comeback. This is the first time this year the Indiana Fever won a close game. And I'm not counting the Sparks. They were up 19 points. And this was a game where Caitlin was fantastic through 3.5 quarters and made some weird plays in the last 3 minutes of the game. Made some really, really weird plays. I gotta say, like 3 turnovers, I think, in the last 3 minutes.
From the opening tip at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the atmosphere carried a completely different intensity. Caitlin Clark didn't walk onto the floor with her usual calm confidence or playful energy. Instead, she entered the game fueled by visible frustration, mounting pressure, and a fierce determination forged through a draining week of criticism, injury rumors, and endless speculation surrounding her status.
On play. It all starts out with Lexi's absolutely tenacious defense on Tiffany Hayes. Lexi is so good with the lateral movement and sticking on her defender. She does not give Tiff Hayes a minute to breathe any sort of comfort. Tiff chucks it up and it's clean. No foul from Lexi. And who comes down with the rebound? None other than Lexi, the Lexecutionator Hull. As we see, Caitlin is taking her time getting up the court. Lexi is sprinting up, gets it over to KM. Kelsey sees Caitlin in her favorite spot, wide open, nothing but net. And there's a lot going around about this interaction right afterwards with Caitlin and Tiff Hayes. And go through film, you see some stuff. Like right after she gets the shot off, Tiff kind of chest bumps her. And the internet doing internet things discovered that Caitlin said, "Yeah, you like that?" Tiff Hayes responds.
As the second half tipped off, the pressure and frustration that had been building all week finally exploded onto the court against the Golden State Valkyries. Every possession carried extra intensity. Every turnover felt devastating, and the momentum began swinging completely in favor of the Indiana Fever. On the sidelines, Natalie Nakase could only watch as her defensive game plan fell apart possession by possession, with every adjustment proving powerless against Caitlin Clark and the Fever's relentless offensive attack.
possessions. I felt we got downhill, we got to the spots. I think we had some quality looks, especially towards the end. Ball just didn't fall in.
What did you think of our shot ball?
I just said they were trying to, again, we spaced the floor pretty well. I thought we, again, attacked the matchup that we wanted. And then, it just didn't fall tonight.
What made the night so fascinating was that the Golden State Valkyries actually came into the matchup with a smart, disciplined defensive strategy. This wasn't a team relying on luck or simply hoping Caitlin Clark would struggle on her own. They built an entire defensive system specifically designed to throw her out of rhythm from the opening possession. Natalie Nakase deserves real credit because it was clear she had studied every detail of Clark's game. She understood the danger Clark creates in transition, her ability to bury deep three-pointers from well beyond the arc, and the way she controls tempo by freezing defenders with hesitation moves and lightning-fast ball movement. Right from the first quarter, the Valkyries turned every possession into a battle. Drives to the rim were met with heavy contact. Passing lanes disappeared under relentless pressure, and the Indiana Fever were repeatedly pushed into uncomfortable offensive sets. At several points, Indiana's offense looked rushed, frustrated, and completely disconnected. Clark herself showed visible irritation early as Golden State denied her clean looks and easy passing opportunities. The physicality kept escalating possession after possession, and as emotions intensified, the game slowly stopped feeling like a normal professional basketball matchup. Instead, it transformed into a gritty, high-pressure war of attrition that looked more like a street fight hidden inside a WNBA
Awesome win. Listen, anybody who knows the Valkyries knew this was going to be a hell of a game, a competitive game. The Valkyries is the only team in the league that reminds me of Indiana Fever, the way they play. And from last season, we saw that these two teams, they have a very die-hard attitude. And we've witnessed that from last season when we were out with Clark and we fought our way all the way to the playoffs, made it out of the first round, and then got knocked out in the second.